Hi guys, Carcer coming back again for some more Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. We're going to be playing as the Orcs, Evil Sons, Tractor Cannon and Beacon, taking the red paint and whatever the speed boost thing's called. So hoping to get a few good games today. Approximately 1 hour long video. Should get a few games in there. Okay, starting things off against the Space Marines. Arise Riders of Theo, I think this guy's called. Pretty sure I've played him quite a few times. Not quite sure exactly what his fleet's going to be. I'm rocking with the usual fleet, 3 Deadnought Ordsgarg Dakas, 2 battlecruiser Hammers, and a selection of mostly Savage gunship for the escorts, and I believe 1 Ravager. So we are going to be starting off in reload stance. This is primarily to get up the board fast. However, as they are Space Marines, I'm slightly worried that he's going to send bombers and the boarding torpedoes to target my escorts while they go and try to cap points. Basically, I've got them split onto the left and right flanks to capture the near point and far right point first, and then I'll be heading up the more or less up the center with my main fleet. I'm reasoning that he's probably going to be going for that cluster of 3 points on the left hand side there, so I'm mostly going to be heading up there. Hide the flagship in the back there. I'll just give him a little bit of protection if he does get targeted with boarding torpedoes. Let's get started. So straight up first with some escorts to capture that first point, and same on the other side. Gonna move the main fleet up and capture that center point. Got some very nice cover here of gas clouds, so I can hopefully duck into them when he does start firing the boarding torpedoes and bomber and strike craft. Just keeping an eye out, nothing yet. Going to send a couple of fighters out to scout him, find out exactly what he's got. Looks like it's probably 2 battle barges though. So surely he's going to have a whole wad of ordnance coming my way pretty soon. Moving up, moving up. And it is indeed 2 battle barges, so what do we got? Okay, launching out just 2 waves of fighters. Not quite sure why he's done that. I would have gone with 1 wave of fighters and something that'll do damage. This just seems kind of useless. I mean, all he's going to do is take off some point defense guns, but then what? So that's going to be done. Looks like it's got a few escort craft trying to dance away from my vision. My returning squad of fighters are going to briefly spot them again. Probably going to get a kill with this, but I'll do a little bit of damage. And there go my fighters. But again, I don't really need the fighters until he's recalled his. So I'm happy enough just to leave them to charge up. Let his fighters do their thing. As soon as he recalls them and tries to launch bombers, then I can just pop fighters again and take them down. So let's get a cheeky boarding action off there. Might as well try and take them down. I mean, I've got plenty of fighters that I can engage the Space Marines with. Dropping a stasis bot and try and catch them, and we'll just do a little ram. Maybe we can still catch both of them. Yeah, kind of. Looks like that lead one's going to get away, but the flagship is well and truly caught in the bubble. So we can start laying into them with all those nice mega cannons. Obviously the escort craft I'd hidden back there can now start moving up and cap the right hand side points now that he's fully distracted. I mean, he's got the possibility of doing a bit of boarding here, but I think he's pretty much done for. I mean, letting me get this close is not a great idea. Battle barges are pretty cool, but I mean they just don't have the firepower to win a brawling engagement like this against orcs. Certainly against mega cannon orcs. I've just done his escort in there, get a little bit of extra damage. Unfortunately, because it is Space Marines, then won't be taking any morale damage. Right, I'll just bump the other group of escorts over to capture that back point. And his flagship's gone. Oh, there comes some strike craft. Actually did have some fighters out to cover this time. And so I eat 6 boarding actions. Which is unfortunate. But, I mean, I'm pretty much full crew at this point, so I'm not hugely fussed about that. And in all probability, this battle barge is going to be dead very, very quickly. So he stopped himself just short of the stasis bubble, but I think we'd quite like to just shove him in there. Just slow down his rate of fire, if nothing else. And boom, there we go. And then we can just pick him apart at leisure. Get that battle cruiser back in the fight. Looks like it's not particularly useful. He's still got a mega cannon, so hell, that's fine. We can put a few extra shots into the battle barge with him. Until he immediately loses his crew again, probably. But so pew 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 pew. And I'll just forget about that last point. Might as well just finish off the rest of the Space Marine ships. This game's been over for a while. And there he goes. Didn't really mean to do that, but sure. Just shove my battle cruiser up a little bit, why not? And the Space Marines are gone. So I think what my opponent should have done was try to kite me a little bit better. He could have, with those 2 battle barges, kept me at range for a bit longer. He could have, I think he could have used his escorts a bit more cleverly. I mean, he had like, what, 4 escorts, so if he bunched all of them together, he could potentially have taken on one of my groups of escorts, and then he would have had more or less free reign to cap one side of the map. I mean, that left, because I got drawn over to his battle barges on the right of the map, then that cluster of 3 points, he could have possibly contested that if he'd grouped up his escorts a little bit. But yeah, I think he should have kited away from me with his battle barges and then used his fighters and strike craft and bombers to harass me while I closed. Could have probably done a fair bit of damage. I mean, all I had was 2 squadrons of fighter bombers for defense, and he could easily have overwhelmed them with the with his one squadron of fighters from one of his battle barges, while he then launched bombers or strike craft to go after one of my ships. I think that probably the best move to do would have been to use strike craft rather than bombers at first, while I'm closing, trying to strip away as much of my crew as possible, so that when I do get close, he can use his boarding actions and honor the chapter to either fully strip them of crew, or better yet, just drop them down to a red state to do critical deck and engine damage, which would have crippled my ships. I mean, when fighting orcs, although it might be tempting to target their weapons to try and get rid of some of those mega cannons, hopefully, I really think it's always best to start with the deck, get that deck gone, because they're just so weak to morale damage, and then as a secondary, if you get rear shots, then go for the engine, because there's nothing sadder than an orc ship with a destroyed engine. It's just an absolute slug. Not that they're quick at the best of times, but especially an orc battleship, that's just very sad. I mean, if you get an orc battleship with a destroyed engine, it's basically out of the game, unless you can somehow finagle the enemy fleet into engaging you. It's really going to have no part to play, so all you can really hope for is to, I don't know, maybe if you've got a capture point with a cloud or an asteroid field nearby, you can hide your battleship in there, just sit it there, hope the enemy forgets about it, and then you can engage again once they go to try to cap. Okay, so we got some Tyranids with Bob L'Eponge. Bob L'Eponge. Is that SpongeBob in French, I wonder? Could be. Hiya. So let's see what the map's looking like. Okay, reasonably spread out, although I've got quite a nice triangle there on the left hand side, a little bit further away than I'd like, and no cover, but I'm thinking with Tyranids they're probably going to come in close anyway. It's not like they're going to be really effectively kiting me. So against Tyranids we swap out the big red button upgrade for Wah Songs. This is basically to counteract the effect of mass fire if he goes pyro acid, and also psychic scream is pretty devastating. Because we're both going to be trying to get in close, he's, you know, I'm going to be pretty blobbed up to make sure I've got good concentrated firepower, because I want to get his ships down quickly. But the downside to that is that it makes me a very vulnerable target to the psychic scream, so I like to take Wah Songs just to give myself a little bit of extra morale protection. Really, it's only Tyranids I do this with, Necrons, just in case he takes a couple of cairns and he can double tap Ancestral Terror. That can be quite nasty, especially if it's used in conjunction with Nightmare Shroud. Necrons can make a fleet of orcs rout very, very quickly as well. And against other orcs I will take it too, just in case they don't, because it can give you a massive advantage if you've got Wah Songs to make your fleet morale immune, and they don't when you get into one of those grindy orc on orc confrontations, as we'll see later on, which is an extremely grindy orc on orc confrontation. So yeah, I look forward to that. So the Tyranid player is revealed the position of his ships by launching fighters right at the start. Sending up a couple of groups of my own fighters just to get them fully spotted. It looks like he does have cover in the form of a couple of gas clouds and an asteroid field, so he will be able to re-stealth. Potentially he could also pop a spore field to do that. I'm just going to recall them because they're just going to get caught up in a bunch of fighters, so that's kind of pointless. Oh, here comes some bombers as well. So it's out. So far we've got one group of fighters, one group of bombers. Let's see what the rest are. Oh, there goes a spore field. So that one just from spore field ability rather than a... Oh. Okay, so it's one group of fighters and then 3 strike crafts. So that's fine. We should be able to wipe them out easily enough. Yep, they just melt immediately, so that's cool. And we'll just carry on moving up. So I guess he's got 2 hive ships and one, was it a cruiser? I think it was just a cruiser rather than a battle cruiser. Okay, here come the escorts. Just try to hold off. Don't really want them to explode right in my face. Yeah, there goes another spore field.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Try and pay attention and see how long these spore fields last for. Now, as far as I know, they should only last for 120 seconds. It seemed like the last patch they just lasted forever, and if they popped multiple of those escorts around your ships, it would just kind of leave them trapped in amber, and it was pretty sad. This hive ship is going down extremely quickly. Still haven't spotted the flagship yet. Hive ship went for a cheeky ram, but it's not going to help him. Looks like one of the battleships is routed. And there's the flag. So he's in fully into brace for impact. I guess to try and mitigate the damage that he's taking from rams and obviously from my big guns. I'm just going to concentrate on getting these 2 cruisers or battle cruisers. I can't really tell with the Tyranids. I think they're just cruisers. No, they're battle cruisers. Okay. Here he comes for another ram. So he has mutinied one of my battle cruisers, but yeah. Yeah, and that battle cruiser was down. Now it's just a case of finishing off the hive ship. And he should be dead in pretty short order. About 35 seconds left for my rally, which obviously been boosted with wah songs, but I think the ship's probably going to be dead by then. And it's going to grab some points just in case, but yeah, I think this is pretty much over. And that's game. Now, those kind of Tyranid fleets, you know, the cuddle party fleets where they've got a lot of ramming, and they kind of want to use that as their primary tactics to get in there and ram. I mean, sure, that might work well against certain fleets, even certain Ork fleets, but against a fleet which primarily is using mega cannons and heavy guns, that's the last place Tyranids want to be, is anywhere near, you know, especially within that 4K range. Then, like, even if I get my deck taken out, I'm still going to be, you know, doing reasonable damage with the mega cannons and heavy guns. You know, if they're within 4.5k and they're just trying to, you know, get that ramming and grinding damage that the Tyranids do, it's, you know, it's a reasonable amount of damage, but it's nowhere near what the Orcs are going to be putting out. It looks like we got Bob L'Eponge again. More Nids. I haven't actually seen many Nids since the start of Season 3. Obviously they were very dominant last patch. I didn't really see what happened for them to get nerfed. But yeah, they don't seem nearly as prolific as they were the last time. Let's go some nice vape there. So, knowing that he is going to try to, well, he tried to open last time with fighters and strikecraft. This time I'm going to put my whole fleet onto, or rather put my main fleet onto Brace for Impact. Because that's likely where he's going to go. He's going to go for my main shit, you know, my battleships, my battle cruisers with the strikecraft. So I'll put them to Brace for Impact to ward off the early fighters and strikecraft. And then I'll just stick and reload for my, my escorts so they can get moving around more quickly, capture points. So I'll move up the right hand side. Obviously there's that nice triangle again in the top right of 3 points. I must be thinking more, yeah, I guess so. So I'll just move up and hide in this gas cloud with my right hand group of escorts. They can then move up to the top point once I've engaged his main fleet. Don't want to just get them murdered by a bunch of invisible Tyranids. Wouldn't really be any use to anyone. Left hand group of escorts is going to move up and capture those 2 points on the left there. I should be left with those completely unmolested. With 5 escorts I should capture those points very quickly as well. So yeah, that should pretty much be mine. I wouldn't have thought that the Tyranid will be able to take the bottom of the 3 points on the right hand side there before I get there, even without my ships in reloads. I should be able to get there fast enough. Now I just noticed he's launched some craft, so I'm just going to duck my battle cruisers into the gas cloud here to lose vision, and then as soon as the red button's up I'm going to boost my battleships in and then just park them in this asteroid cloud for a second. Again, I'll stealth them and drop vision, make his craft go home. As long as I remember to actually park them. There we go. And stealthed on. And there go the craft. Keep moving up. Not quite sure what the point of that spore field was. I don't know, do they go exactly... I've never really used those spore field abilities. I don't know if they go exactly where you tell them or if there's a bit of a scatter like there is with like the Ork Nova Cannon. Let me know. Because sure as fuck can't be bothered to play Tyranids and find out. I've played a few games of Tyranids, and I don't know, yeah, it wasn't for me. I mean, as some of you may have noticed, my favourite fleet obviously is the Orcs. Quite like the Necrons, they're kind of fun. Quite like playing Azurani. I'll have to give them a go actually again now that they've been kind of buffed through points. Okay, so here comes another wave of he's just sent out strikecraft, so I'm gonna be able to eliminate those super easily. I didn't even need to pop that stasis field, but I just basically dropped it down. Thought it might have been fighters, so it would just give me a bit of extra chance to whittle them down before they reach me, but no, it's just strikecraft, so they're just gonna get shot to pieces straight away. Doubt a single one of them is going to land. Okay, now he's probably going to be fixated on my main ships, so now I'm going to start moving all of my escorts into play. Ships on the right there, they can boost up and, like I say, cap that top right point and probably spot some enemies in the way as well. And there goes another spore field. I mean, one spore field isn't particularly useful. Although he has got an escort here. Ram the escort into and behind that cruiser. Was that a light? Yeah, it must be a light cruiser. Just drop a couple of lightning strikes in there to kill him, although that's probably not necessary. Yeah, he just died. Oh, not before he... I guess he tentacled himself into me there. But there goes the light cruiser as well. And you've spotted the first of his battle cruisers, which, like I say, see again, he's gone for like the Tyrannid Ram cuddle party, but it's just not effective against orcs. You do that, then just look how quickly his health is going down. Like you can't play like that against orcs. Well, against Mega Cannon orcs anyway. I remember back when I used to use orc carrier fleets, specifically like 3 of the Deadnought Urdunkies. I used to hate coming up against Tyrannids because they've got such, well, you know, they've got a lot of defense turrets, which just make mincemeat of your strikecraft. And there we go. He just popped a psychic stream there just before his death, just as I guess must have been just after I hit the Rally Wa song. So that completely negated its usefulness, and that's the game over. So even quicker that time, but yeah, like I say, it shows you that yeah, you can't play that kind of Tyrannid fleet against this kind of orc fleet. I mean, he looks like he's a new player. He's probably just bought the game in Steam sale or whatever the past couple of weeks. So on to the next one. Can't actually remember what I get here. It seems like the queues are taking a little bit longer. Obviously there was a big influx of new players once the game went on sale in the Steam sale, and I think a lot of returning players once Season 3 started. And I guess people that maybe bought the game just because they want to play the new Chaos campaign, which, I don't know, seems a little bit disappointing to me. When I heard that they're going to be doing a grand campaign as like, you know, the final part of their post-launch roadmap, I was assuming it. Oh God, another Tyrannid. I was hoping it was going to be like a grand campaign, in that there would be, you know, like a Total War style campaign where you could just, it wasn't really a story campaign, but you could play through as any race, and it would just be like a kind of galaxy conquest, painting the map, well, green in my case. But no, it's just Chaos, which, even choosing Chaos, that seemed like a poor choice to me, because they play quite similarly to the Imperial fleet. I probably would have gone for one of the Eldar. In fact, you could have gone for like a combined Eldar faction for the new grand campaign, right? I would have gone with, like, you know, what do you call those, the ones that is it Inari? You know, that follow the new Eldar Death God or whatever. Because then that way you could have done what they do with the Imperial campaign, and you could have combined all 3 Eldar factions into one, which would have been pretty neat. It would have given you lots of different gameplay options. I think it would have been more fun. It's a radically different gameplay style from any of the factions that you currently play through as, you know, being the Tyranids, Necrons, and Imperials. Like, Chaos for me is a little bit samey with the Imperial campaign, but I don't know. Maybe they'll, if they continue support for this game, they'll do that at some point in the future. I would play that. I think that would be real fun, combining those different elder ships. Biospam. Yeah, keep your filthy cum guns off me, Plasm. Okay, so we're ready to go. Again, keeping the same loadout of stasis bomb and tractor cannon, just for utility, catching, stopping stuff from reaching me. And then Wa songs, and always useful against Tyranids. Just through one thing, through their boarding, through their pyroacid, and through their psychic scream, have a lot of ways to mess with your morale. Again, starting off my main fleet in Brace for Impact. I don't know what Plasma's going to bring to the table. He said something about bio plasma spam, which haven't really seen bioplasma spam much. Oh, okay, so we've got a big wave of craft coming in. Just the one? I don't see anything else. I've got a group of escorts in the bottom right there. I'm just going to hold them in place until I figure out what's going on with his fleets. Then I'll probably just move them up to capture that top right point. I don't see. You would have thought that top right point would be getting captured by now if he had something over there. So I guess he's probably just blobbed his fleet in the middle behind this, behind that first point that he's captured. So we'll just continue to move up. So yeah, I suppose he's just sending a solitary group of fighters to their death. They'll be shot to pieces in seconds, having achieved nothing. Is he even going to get a single turret down before they go? I don't think he did. So that was useless. No point in even scouting really with my Ork fleet, because I just boost him straight up. Okay, and it looks like he's going for a straight up engagement as well. 3 hive ships this time. Okay, so I'll just use my craft to spot him. Get those early shots off. Bring him back. See if I can preserve him as much as possible. He does have fightercraft, so it'll be worthwhile keeping some fighters in reserve just so I can kill bombers. Alright, so I'll just drop a stasis bomb there and maybe drag that other. Could have played that a bit better. Right, there goes the first Psychic Scream. It was enough to mutiny 1 battlecruiser. So I'm going to drop a bunch of boarding onto this hive ship. And fire the other one. Looks like he's got one hiding in the gas cloud there now. But they're not particularly dangerous at range, so yeah, once again with this I'm just going to pick these off one by one. I'll get my battleships starting to turn round now so they can do damage to both ships at once. Oof. Yeah, there goes that hive ship. Pretty much going to ignore those escorts. We can just deal with those later. They're really of very little concern. So boost up one of my escorts just to keep them spotted, keep the damage up. Protractor cannon on standby in case he tries to boost away. But yeah, this guy's going to go down pretty quickly. Now that's unfortunate. My flagship does mutiny, which is sad. Now this is quite dangerous because I'm now in a position where I have lost my ability to rally, and he still has Psychic Scream on his flagship. So just to mitigate any ramming morale loss, I'm going to keep these ships in Brace for Impact rather than the usual lock-on. Yes, it denies me that extra crit chance, which is, you know, so good with orcs, with the Ork mega cannons. I mean, with the Ork mega cannon, although lock-on has been nerfed somewhat with regards to its additional crit chance from what it used to be, with a mega cannon, you're still looking at like 50%. Yeah, around about 50% crit chance for every shot. So it looks like he's kind of scouting around with his admiral ship. Now I do have red paint on the Ork battleships, but they're still pretty painfully slow, especially that one with the damaged engine. But I don't want to do repair just at the moment, in case I need to use a novice bully, because morale is going to be my main concern. Yep, and there we go. So I've now lost the deck on one of those ships. So ideally I would like to take this flagship down before he gets the chance to hit me with another Psychic Scream or do more ramming. Looks like he is rabbiting. Yep, so he's boosted away and used Void Liquor, and now he's jumped into that asteroid field over there. I don't think he's within range to harm me. I start giving chase with my my one battleship, which has still got its engines up and running, which was in retrospect kind of a stupid move. I probably should have just moved him into the circle, capped that, and then just forced him to come to me. Move my escorts down so they could provide spotting. So I'm just looking to see if he's still firing at me. I think he's probably just pieced out with that hive ship to try and regenerate some health. But even so, I think going one-on-one with an Ordsguard Daka is probably not going to go too well for that hive ship. Although, I mean, with Psychic Scream, I guess you could do something. But I do have almost full morale, even though I'm eroding that somewhat by driving through this asteroid field. So now I realise that giving chase was a really stupid idea, a little bit too late, and I'm just going to boost over and engage these escorts, so might as well get them picked off while they're relatively all alone. Still don't know exactly where the hive ship has gone. So the escorts, they're trying to rabbit, but I've obviously got escorts of my own to box them in and murder them. So let's pop a scan in a second. So between the firepower of those 6 savages plus the battleship, any escorts in this area are going to be dealt with very quickly. I still do have a crippled battleship down there just below the contested point. I'll just pop some crew on there. Looks like it doesn't have any fire effects or anything at the moment, so if I can keep these escorts away, they're not going to be able to tongue him to death. I think they're tentacle ships, but they're gone. So yes, now there's the hive ship back. So he's obviously just killed the last of the crew on the crippled battleship. Now he's moving into engage. I think he must know at this point that the game is lost for him. There he goes, tries to pop a Psychic Scream. But I think the firepower should be sufficient to of my combined fleet here, just to whittle him down in short order. I've still got my double mega cannon active, still got my front facing weapons battery, so I'll just keep my front to him, obviously to keep my armour up. I imagine he'll probably go for a ram in a second. Oof, that was a pretty meaty mega cannon shot there. But yeah, this guy's done for. Just as the last of my crew die. But even with the crew dead there, if I hadn't killed this battleship, I could have just recrewed it with my 6 escorts that were sitting around, so wasn't really any danger there. So that was a bit of a closer game than the last 2 against Plasm. Again, it looks like he's quite a new player. I'm sure I recognise that name. Maybe not as a Tyranid. Plasm. I think he might have played Drakari when I'd seen him before. Drakari, it's kind of one of the last things you want to see when you're playing as orcs. So, what do we have for the next one? Just gonna refill my vape real quick. It is this the Orc game? No, it's Admech against Hello. Okay, so this should be kind of different. Now, Admech are for sure fleet, which are not going to want to get anywhere near me. They're going to keep me at arm's length for as long as possible. Well, if I was playing Admech, I would want to keep orcs at arm's length for as long as possible. And obviously I am going to be racing up the map as quickly as possible to try and get into range and hopefully get inside the range of their Nova Cannons, try and mitigate that damage as much as possible. So everything's going to be starting off in reload to facilitate that, to try and get that combustion gauge to refill more quickly. Well, combustion gauge, the red button countdown. Again, we're going to have a couple of groups of escorts on the far sides of the map to capture those kind of standalone points. And then we've got a nice cluster in the middle for the remaining 3 points where I guess both of ours are going to be converging. I'll just face my battleships the correct way. Now against Admech, rather than clustering my ships like I normally do, I will be spreading them out and keeping them line abreast. This obviously reduces the chance that he's going to be able to hit multiple ships with a single Nova Cannon shot, or a single cluster of Nova Cannon shots, as they often do. So, escorts up to capture those points. Shouldn't be any immediate danger of getting them novid. I've got another group of 2 escorts on the left there, just to act as a backup. Do a little bit of spotting if necessary, if they decide to sit in a gas cloud, and that's where they decide to camp and fire their Nova Cannons from. So what we got here, this looks like 4 cruisers and a battleship. So that's going to be 5 Nova Cannons coming my way. Well, I forgot to mention at the start of the game, doing the usual Admech trick here, where I will take one of my skills on the flagship. Normally I would take Stasis Bomb or Beacon as my secondary skill, obviously keeping Tractor Cannon, the best skill in the game. But yeah, I'll take a Overload Shields because oftentimes when your enemy does decide to spam you with the Nova Cannons, they're going to go straight for your flagship. Because, you know, as an Orc player, your flagships are very, very important for morale. As I've mentioned multiple times before, morale is really what can mess you up as an Orc. So with the Overload Shields, what I'm going to try and do is bait him into firing all of his Nova Cannons at once onto my flagship. Okay, there's the first one, so I'll just boost immediately, which should avoid that shot. And take the opportunity to boost everything, and for his second volley, it's probably all going to land right back there on the battleship. That's 1, 2, 3, plus the one he just fired, so that's 4. Let's pop that at the last second. There we go. You do still annoyingly take morale damage, even though you don't take any hull damage, which, like, I don't understand why that's a thing, but I guess it is. Now, I've very unfortunately taken an engine damage result on one of my battle cruisers already, which doesn't seem like they've got the right angle to do that. They weren't hitting me with any bombs or anything, or they didn't hit me with any bombers yet. They are coming now, but yeah, not quite sure what angle is necessary. So anyway, here comes a single Nova Cannon shot, but that should be all they managed to get off before I'm inside the range. Now we're going to do a lovely tractor that hits 2 of the cruisers and rams them so they're facing me now. I'll have no escapees, thank you very much. So I'll maybe let a couple get through, and then we'll just try and pincer off the others. These Admech ships, a bit of boarding is very effective against Admech as well, but yeah, they should go down super quickly. Do have a mutiny on the flagship thanks to the morale damage he took from all those Nova Cannons earlier, but yeah, it's not going to help him. And unfortunately, again, I've taken engine damage to my flagship, which sucks. But I'm still going to be well within range for my tractor cannon once that comes up in a couple of seconds. So I'll just do yet more ramming damage there. Ooh, there we go. So that was a cruiser into the battleship, into another cruiser. So it was damage to all of them and hefty morale damage to the cruiser I grabbed and the Ark Mechanicus. Again, I'm just swarming them, keeping right up in their face, not giving them the chance to turn around and use those Nova Cannons. I mean, he's hitting me with disruption bombs, trying to drop my shield, but I mean, it's kind of useless at this point. So that's 3 of his cruisers are now routing. One's got very low crew. They're all in yellow crew, in fact. Yellow or red. There goes the mutiny. He might be able to rally. No, that's it. Yep. I mean, that was GG for the last little while there. What I would do if I was playing Admech is boost forward as quickly as possible at the start of the match. Get 1 round of Nova Cannons off, and then immediately turn around and run away. And then at least that way you're likely to get 2 shots off before the orcs reach you. Or even just like, you know, like use a combination of the Nova Cannon and the Eye of the Omnissiah, because even if you don't hit all the orc ships or slow them down, if you just slow down like maybe 2 of the battleships, that's going to make a huge dent in my DPS. Then you can focus down the remaining ships which are making up to try and engage you, get in your face, and you've got a much better chance of doing some kind of critical, crippling damage to them before the rest of the ships arrive. Or, I mean, you could... What I've seen a lot of people do is split their fleet up with Admech, and then that way I can't just dive right into your Nova Cannon range and, you know, basically neutralize them. You're going to have, you know, I'm probably going to want to keep my ships reasonably close together, which maximizes my burst damage to whatever I do engage. But then while I'm doing that, then you can engage with your other ships and fire Nova Cannon shots into the blob, which will be harder to dodge once my ships start getting close together. I'm not really a big fan of Nova Cannon play, to be honest. Just seems a little bit samey and boring. I understand it's very useful in the Imperial campaign, but I think in multiplayer, not so good. Still does absolute number on Necrons though. Like, poor Necrons have really got no answer to that. You can dodge 1, maybe dodge 2, but then you're shafted after that. So it's taken a wee while again for this next game. This is being recorded on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. So I don't know. Maybe it's nice and sunny where people are, and people are out playing and drinking or whatever. Not sat in playing with internet spaceships. Speaking of internet spaceships, what's going on with EVE Online just now? There's some kind of alien invasion. There's like NPC alien ships, and they've put a delay on low sec or null sec chat. I've heard something. I don't know. I saw a post about it on Facebook or something. I mean, yeah, sure. That's something different, I guess. Won't be resubbing though. Okay, we've got a game. Who have we got this time? I think this might be the Ork game. I think. It is Orcs. Space Coast. And so, in this game, I don't realize it immediately, but Space Coast will be taking what is one of my fleet's kryptonites, which is another Ork fleet which has more battleships than my Ork fleet does. I did once, long ago, rock a 5 battleship Ork fleet with a bunch of brutes back when they were cheaper. Which and you know, it's undoubtedly very effective. They've got an enormous amount of firepower. If you stick red evil suns on them, you put the red paint and boost on, you're pretty damn mobile. I mean, it's good against a lot of other fleets. It's very good against other Orks. Because the mega cannons are incredibly dangerous against other Ork ships. I mean, like the critical chance and the sheer damage they do, especially if you get side shots and rear shots, is frankly terrifying. They cripple your decks in seconds, drop your morale. So the fact that he's got quite a bit more mega cannons than I do is going to put me at a big disadvantage straight away. Now, my Ork loadout, taking tractor cannon because best skill in the game. Taking stasis bomb. The stasis bomb. The point of that normally is to catch people, and when they try to escape from the stasis bubble, you can tractor them in or tractor a ship, two ships into each other and maybe catch both of them and do damage. With Orks, the object of the stasis bomb is to break up their fleet, because generally it's going to be two blobs of Orks butting into each other. So when they go for their big red button charge, you want to use the stasis bomb and the tractor to block off as many of the enemy ships as you can. So you hopefully want them to be blobbed up. And then what I'm planning to do here is to sit in that gas cloud towards the center of the map. Hopefully take out their escorts so they'll lose vision, and then pepper them with lock-on fire. Now, unfortunately, what the other player is doing, he is keeping his ships fairly spread apart and wisely keeping his flagship in the rear. So what I would normally do with Orks, if they do mob in en masse, is try and, that's the other thing you do with tractor cannon, is grab the flagship, catch as many other ships in the stasis as I can, drag that flagship out and take it out immediately. Because you can alpha down. If you get a flagship right, within 9k of your fleet, you can get it killed pretty damn quickly, even if it is front facing. Obviously, that'll give it all the other Orks big morale hit and remove any special abilities and rally that they have, so you can concentrate on taking out their decks and just writing them off the table. which is a good way to deal with a fleet of more battleships than you have. So we're doing a good job of taking out these the first of these Ork escorts. I've got a group of my own escorts which are going to move up and help. They're now going to go after that far brute. She didn't have much problem killing him. Got plenty of firepower between those 4 savages. So he's got another escort over there. I'd quite like to kill that too, and I'll just stop him from scanner pulsing me. I mean, he is going to get some scanner pulses off just now, which is going to keep me spotted for the moment, but that'll wear off before too long. And looks like the last, yep, that's the last of his escorts going down now. Apart from whatever that is he's got over there in the top right, but that doesn't seem to be getting involved. Unfortunately, in all the excitement, I kind of forgot about most of my other escorts. I could have had them up doing something a bit more useful. So I'm now fully stealthed. The enemy's closing in. He's spread apart though, so my stasis bomb isn't going to be as effective as I would like. So what I'm going to do is try and stasis bomb those 2 Ork ships on the right hand side there, and then concentrate all my firepower on the 2 Ork ships on the left hand side. Try and get them alpha down as quickly as possible, focused. Now he is moving in behind me. But I'm going to keep my flagship facing forward so that you can't see. He's doing what I was talking about. He's trying to go straight for my flagship, but in doing so, he's kind of leaving his 2 battleships out exposed. Now, unfortunately, my stasis bomb has dropped, so his other ships are now starting to get involved. Okay, so first of his battleships goes down. Another one's mutinied. His flagship is coming in, but yeah, there goes the other one, which does unfortunately get a ram off of my flagship before it dies. So he's, yep, again just charging in. I tried to push him into the other battleship, try and get him to ram each other, but unfortunately it didn't work. So I've just had to pop my Wasong's rally ability. But at this point, I'm very low health on my flagship. My other battleship is not looking super healthy. My battle cruisers are doing okay. I'm just about to kill another one of his... oh god, that was really unfortunate. So my flagship died, causing a mass mutiny of my remaining escorts. Right, tried to pop a tractor. Yeah, no, he just popped his own rally because that other Ork Dagdaka was running away. But now, because he's got 2 battleships to my 1 battleship, unfortunately he's able to... Oh, get on, I was about to say get on either side of my my remaining battleship, but right, I'm just gonna... He's the way to die, so I'll just get a cheeky boarding action in. Or do I? Did I actually get it off before it exploded? No, it doesn't look like it. Oof. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, at least I avoided the Nova Cannon. Now it's another mutiny, but he did still have his deck, unfortunately. I would have had a chance at this, I think, if now his deck. So, see, if that battleship had lost its deck and a mutiny just there, I think I might have had a chance to win this. But because it's now a game of my 4 escorts against 2 battleships, one of which is the flag, it's kind of over. I don't really have any map control. I've only got 2 points. And with Ork escorts, because you can't conceal them, then it's it's really just you can't do anything sneaky as far as running around grabbing points like you can do maybe with Chaos or Imperial escorts. Particularly Chaos escorts, which are quite fast. So, yep, he's going kill crazy after my fleeing battle cruiser. Why not, I guess. I'm going after this guy just on the off chance I can maybe get a morale loss on him, but then his deck's gone. But yeah, it's basically not going to happen. I mean, if I'd been able to break that battleship, or even if I'd broken that battleship, though, he would have been able to rally it. So nah, it's kind of pointless. I should really just capitulate here, but yeah, I might as well just go for a little bit of, I don't know, nothing really. Kind of a waste of time. There we go, nice Orky Ram, and yep, he explodes nicely. Now I think if I'd done this differently, what I probably would have done is when he came in for his big ram after my first stasis bomb went down, I probably should have immediately boosted straight up past the ships flanking on either side and just blobbed his flagship. If I could have taken his flagship down nice and early on, even though he still had the 4 battleships left, I reckon I probably could have taken them. Especially if I'd then moved my escorts in to support, because all of his escorts were dead. And then I could have kept him spotted if he tried to hide in the asteroid cloud, which is probably what he would have done if I just boosted out and taken out his flag. Really can't overstress enough how important it is to make sure that you kill the enemy flag before the enemy kills your flag in an Ork v Ork. As we saw there, it really, you know, okay, there was a lot of damage being done, but it was morale was playing a very large part in that fight, as it so often does with orcs, or always does with orcs. So, looking for another match. But yeah, I think I touched on this earlier. The fleet that he took, it's very effective against a lot of other fleets. It's good against Imperials. It's good against Chaos, even though they're so slow. If you take it with the red button upgrade and red paint, it's great. However, that fleet falls down when you play the usual Orc nemesis, right? Which is your fast, stealthy fleets. So, Drakari, I mean, that was the main reason I stopped using a battleship-centric fleet was... oh, looks like I'm ending the video here. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully we'll be posting another one in the next few days. And, hope we can get back at the leaderboard a little bit. 10th position, it's sad. Right, I'm off.